welcome to the LawSikho's thorough newspaper analysis for the 23rd of June 2023. So today we have one editorial article which has been taken from the Indian Express and it talks about uniform rights, not laws, which is basically on the premise of the Uniform Civil. Now, for the second and the third segment of today, we will have the news update and the legal news. So, what is today's article's issue? Now, the 22nd Law Commission of India has decided to solicit the views of the public and recognize religious institutions on the topic of uniform civil code. The commission has referred to reform on family law paper from 2018 with regards to uniform civil code. Now, why is it this significant? Because we do know that the 22nd Law Commission was sanctioned back in 2020, but it only came into force and started acting on the recommendations last year. So the issue right now in front of the 22nd Law Commission is a huge one. Therefore, and since this will be going forward to regulate all the religious and ethnic groups across India, which is a very diverse country in itself, it is important to solicit the views of the public on this. Now, why is the uniform civil code not as easy as it seems? I mean, come on, we've all heard someone or the other say that why doesn't India have a uniform civil code? Why have so many religious laws and all of that? So but no one has come forward and asked why is it not as easy, because if it were, then it would have already happened. Well, the 21st Law Commission had stated in its report that the uniform civil code, although a novel idea, was neither necessary nor desirable at the stage India was in. Now, this is because when we talk of the uniform civil code, one of the biggest issue that comes forward, or one of the most crucial arguments that come forward, is the fact that because there are so many religions and there are so many personal laws in India, there are a lot of differences in how how these laws operate. So there must be one single legislation that will bring forth all the religious and ethnic groups under one umbrella and ensure that they get this, like the same laws are meted out to everyone in the country. Now, the question that arises here, and it is a much more sophisticated question than it seems, is that is it a necessity to drive out all difference from a democratic country like ours? Well, the 21st Law Commission resonated on this idea and said that the mere existence of difference was not valid grounds to prove discrimination. In fact, it was the sign of a healthy democracy. Further, a single code for all religious and ethnic groups would be cruel to the weaker and vulnerable sections. Now, think of it like this: the Indian Constitution, through its amendments, went forward to protect the scheduled castes and the scheduled tribes. Now, this was not just done to ensure that they would get jobs or they would get a better representation in the modern society, but it was also to ensure that they would be able to support themselves and, in return, uphold their indigenous culture, ensure that their indigenous culture was protected and it was showcased in front of the country. Now, if we go forward and do implement a uniform civil code, it is these weaker and vulnerable sections of the society that will fall under the risk of having their identities snatched away from them. Now, the focus should be on the uniformity of right and not of laws. Now, the Commission also criticized the HUF system for tax evasion purposes. So, one of the reasons uniform civil code is often touted is that there are a lot of laws which do not favor women as such. Now, let's say we could talk about triple talaq, or which was turned over by the Supreme Court. But the 21st Law Commission decided to focus on the HUF mode of business and the entire Hindu co-parcenary system as a whole. And it stated that yes, the entire Hindu co-parcenary system was deep rooted in India, but we should not allow it to remain so, because this is hurting the coffers of the state. And the sole purpose for which HUF is now utilized, if you're on Instagram, you would have seen lots of reels on this, is to save taxes. And the commission went forth to say that if this is the only use for the HUF, which is tax evasion, then let's remove this. Now, the report of the 21st Law Commission also recognized the hardships that Muslim women face in case of inheritance. And they said that instead of going for a single uniform civil code for all religions, let's bring in minor factions under one umbrella and ensure that they get the same rights as others. Now, in this report, the 21st Law Commission said that for Muslims, let's bring the Sunnis and the Shias under one umbrella and ensure that the women are upheld even in the laws. Now, with respect to the polygamy issue, which the Islamic laws permit, the findings of the 21st Law Commissions were in consonance with the findings of the case of Sarla Mudgal in 1995. Now, in this particular case, the Supreme Court very sadly observed that although, yes, the polygamy was permitted in Islam, it was not the born Muslims mostly, the Muslims who were born into a Muslim family, who were practicing polygamy. It was actually people who had converted into Islam with the sole idea that they would be able to solemnize multiple marriages. These were the people who were practicing polygamy mostly. Regarding guardianship, of course, the 21st Law Commission has stated what so many other courts have already stated, that it is the child's best interests that have to be taken while deciding the issue of guardianship. Now, the matter at hand is that the 21st Law Commission, in its report, raised very notable arguments on why the Uniform Civil Code is not necessary or desirable at this point of time. Now, although the 22nd Commission was the ideated back in 2020, it is yet to see how the 22nd Law Commission will fare regarding the Uniform Civil Code with so little time at hand. Now, with this, we move on to the news updates for today. Firstly, in a very proud moment for India, Sunil Chhetri becomes the second highest goal scorer in Asia. The Indian captain surpassed Mokhtar Dahari of Malaysia with 89 goals to climb to the fourth spot amongst the highest goal scorers in international football. Argentina World Cup winning legend Lionel Messi, who has 103 goals, Iran's retired player Al Dai, 109 goals, and legendary Portugal striker Cristiano Ronaldo with 123 goals are the only players who are ahead of Chhetri in the goal scoring list. Among active players, he is the third highest goal scorer by an international footballer. Only Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are ahead of our Indian captain. Secondly, we have NHAI launches knowledge sharing platform. For sharing the knowledge and innovative best practices, NHAI has launched a knowledge sharing platform hosted on the NHAI website. This initiative will help authorities to collaborate with experts and citizens who want to share knowledge and insights related to topics such as road design, construction, road safety, environment sustainability, and related fields. The platform will encourage sharing of best practices from around the world and will contribute towards holistic development of the national highway infrastructure in the country. Thirdly, we have Yoga Day event organized in Surat sets new Guinness World Record. Over 1.25 lakh people attended the International Yoga Day event in Surat, setting up a new Guinness World Record for the largest gathering of people for a yoga session in one place. The session took place in the presence of the Guinness World Records officials. Now, in a sad news of the day, we have creator of Amul Girl passes away. Sylvester de Cunha, the creative genius behind the iconic Amul Girl campaign, died on Tuesday night in Mumbai. Former Amul MD and current Indian Dairy Association President R.S. Sodhi tweeted a crying picture of the Amul Girl to condole de Cunha's death. Silver de Cunha, along with his wife Nisha, conceptualized the famous Utterly Butterly campaign for Amul in 1966, which introduced the world to the endearing Amul Girl. This campaign, with its witty and timely messages, became an instant hit and continues to captivate audiences to this day. Next up, we have Jharkhand government launches Panchayat-level medicine. Jharkhand's chief minister has launched the ambitious Panchayat-level medicine scheme, which aims at making medicines available at remote areas. A total of 15 people have been selected in the district of Chhatra alone so far. These shops will house essential medicines for which would greatly help the people, as the villagers will no longer have to travel great distances in order to fetch these medicines. Now, in the international news segment of the day, we have Finland Parliament elects Petteri Orpo as country's new prime minister. Petteri Orpo, the leader of the Conservative Party in Finland, has been elected as the country's prime minister by the parliament. Orpo will lead a coalition government comprising four parties, including the far-right Finns party, which intends to implement strict measures on immigration. With 107 members in favor, 81 opposed, and 11 absent, the parliament expressed its support for Orpo, who emerged victorious in the April elections. His victory initiated negotiations for a coalition government, which have been ongoing since then. Now, for the legal updates of the day, we have photocopy of seal deed can't be accepted as surety for purposes of Section 17 of Small Cause Courts Act, read with Section 145 of CPC. Now, the Allahabad High Court, in the case of Raj Kumar and three others versus Muhammad Kaukab, Azim, Rizvi, and another, has observed that the photocopy of the seal deed cannot be accepted as surety for purposes of Section 17 of the Provincial Small Causes Courts Act 1887, read with Section 145 of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908. The bench of Justice Neeraj Tiwari noted that for the purposes of both the provisions, a surety should have been of the nature which may be sold out as and when required, and since on the basis of the photocopy of the seal deed, no sale of the property can be made, therefore such surety cannot be accepted. Now, this was all for today. For free study materials and TNA PDF slides, please join our Telegram channel, the link of which you can find in the description, or you can always scan the barcode that is given on your screen. Don't forget to subscribe our channel on YouTube to stay up to date with the current affairs and the thorough newspaper analysis as it comes out every day. Thank you.